Hey guys, so in this video I'll be attempting to survive 100 days in Minecraft Insane mode, well known as Better Minecraft. Now this mod pack is insane and adds around 200 mods to the game. Some of these mods include new items, new mobs, and whole new dimensions like the Abyss. In this video my goal is to survive 100 days in this crazy world, but I've also set myself some challenges. Firstly, I'd like to kill the Ender Dragon, then end up getting an Elytra, and finally creating myself an infused netherite set. Anyways guys, this is my first video in a while on this channel, and if you do enjoy, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, let me get right into the video. We loaded into the world and then looked at the world map, which looked awesome by the way. We then stumbled upon a huge dojo like building, which I plan to return to later on.
What is that?
We started getting set up with some basic tools and murdering some sheep for their food and wool. I wanted to get a bed as soon as possible. I then realised you can chop trees whole if you shift.
Gosh.
I was absolutely
What
amazed.
the heck?
I then found a waystone,
The waystone.
and that was the end of day one. I found a village close to where I slept. There was a ruined portal which spawned inside this house, which I found quite fun, and the amount of loot which this village gave me was insane. It helped me out so much. I took the gold from the ruined portal, killed the poor golems for their iron, and then found a funky eye patch, which I then took off this cool farmer's hat. I spent around 2 days looting this village before I left. I then set sail to explore this vast world. I found this cool little hobbit hole on my travels, and then was greeted by these cute little guys.
Hello. Hey.
I found this huge tower which I decided to climb, which had a waypoint on the top and some good loot. I then found this nice area which I wanted to start clearing out for the start of a house. I started laying the foundations for the start of the house, and then that was the end of day 4. On day 5 we placed a waystone at our house. Then, midway through building my roof, I realised we had some guests. There were 4 seals chilling on the beach next to my house. They were very cute. For the rest of day 5, I did work on the house. On day 6, I wanted to start working on an enclosure for the cows in the area. I then ran out of wood, so I used the waystone to travel back to where I found them large trees. Once completing the enclosure, I realised you could pick up mobs. This was such a cool feature. I then witnessed some whales dancing in the ocean.
What the heck is going on?
Then I felt like it was time for me to clear out the nearby tower, which I found this little guy at the bottom.
Hello.
Clearing the tower was pretty simple, and I got some decent loot from doing so. In the tower, I found myself an abandoned dungeon map. So, on day 7, I decided to locate and explore this dungeon. In the dungeon, there were 3 different rooms, which were actually fairly easy to clear out. Surprisingly, the loot from the dungeon was actually really good. Throughout days 8 to 13, I went mining. The cave systems are very similar to the current cave systems in the new update, but come along with various new additions, like these little dragon things which fight off mobs for you.
Pretty cool.
I was in these caves for a while. I managed to get around 40 diamonds and other various valuables. I also managed to get enough obsidian for an enchantment table and a nether portal. I decided to leave these caves once I was close to dying in these water pools. Now that was close. On days 14 and 15 I worked on the farm. I needed this wheat so I could breed the cows and eventually make an enchantment area. I wanted to make the wheat farm look very nice, and I spent almost a day on the farm itself. On these days I also created a full diamond set alongside with a diamond shield, which I thought was super cool. I also ended up killing almost all my cows. On day 16 I remembered this building I stumbled across a few days earlier and wanted to explore it. It was fairly easy to clear out and the loot was pretty decent. Then on day 17 I wanted to explore to find more structures. You'll see throughout this video I tend to do this a lot, but on this day somehow I found the end stronghold. When I tell you how big this place was, I'm not even exaggerating. This place felt like an actual maze and I was in here for around like 2 hours real time. I even managed to experience a blood moon while exploring this place, and that took us up to day 23. On day 24 I spent the time travelling back to my house. I also made an enchantment table with the bookshelves that I found at the stronghold. Day 25, quarter way through the 100 days and around 8.5 hours of playtime, I finally decided to make the nether portal and see what it was like. I got scared by the weird looking biome and left pretty much instantly though. Throughout days 26 to 29, I went back to explore that dojo. Well, kinda. I got through the first few floors and the amount of mobs were increasing rapidly, so I had the smart idea just to pillar up to the top and come back later if I needed to fully loot the place. The amount of loot was insane, and I decided I should probably come back when I'm more geared. I wanted to make a larger house to store all my goods, so basically day 30 was me just chopping down trees. On day 31, I stumbled across this massive pillager tower. And knowing me, I just built up to the top. There were 2 pillager kings at the top which did a lot of damage, but I managed to kill them both. I then worked my way down the tower, wiping out all the mobs and getting some nice loot. I was in there for about 2 days. I located a pillager camp on day 33 and managed to kill this dude and get a pretty insane axe. I stayed here wiping out and looting the camp for the rest of the day. Whilst exploring on day 34, I found a jungle temple. I then got jumped by a gang of silverfish. I didn't know if I was going to get out of here because they just keep on spawning. Then on day 35, I started clearing out an area and working on a new house. This house would be a lot larger than my starting shack and would take me around 2 to 3 hours just to complete it, taking us to day 43. This day was also a blood moon, which meant I couldn't sleep, but on this day I started to move and sort all my belongings. This was such a lengthy process and took me to about day 45. I upgraded my gear on this day as I wanted to prepare myself to finally explore the Nether. I ended up with some nice weapons and armor and felt prepared enough to step into the Nether. Day 46 was the day I started to explore the Nether. Where my portal spawned was a warped outpost. I decided to explore, had to kill all the piglins, and then I looted. The loot was actually really good. While exploring I found this little guy. This guy had some amazing trades, like damn, look at this insane sword. Later on I found this massive nuclear factory. This thing looked deadly and at the time my heart was beating fast. While looting I found a radioactive shield which is pretty cool. And then I realised that hanging around the factory was barrels. I built around the sides and mined down to loot the factory. And in the barrel was actually this really cool hazmat armor. After looting the factory, I found the control room. This control room was being guarded by this deadly wither skeleton, which had a totem of undying and a full hazmat suit. I ended up killing the wither skeleton and it dropped a full hazmat suit with insane enchantments. I then found a radiation room, so I decided to put my armor on and explore. In this room wasn't too much, but I found some okay loot. I then found this new Nether desert biome, which had this weird looking blaze mob in it. Also in this biome was a bastion. I looted this place, but it didn't have that much great loot for how long I was there. Then on day 52 to day 53 I went netherite mining. It was fairly successful and I managed to get myself enough ancient debris. Now, remember this little guy from earlier? Well, yeah, I couldn't resist his netherite trade, and he actually came in really helpful. For each 4 ancient debris I managed to get 5 netherite scrap. Then on my way home I found this nether pyramid, and let's just say it nearly gave me a heart attack. Day 54 I set off to find some Loran flowers. Now, why you ask? Well, these flowers help craft a special obsidian which allows you to make a portal to get into the abyss dimension. I then created the special obsidian, made the portal, and then had to go to the Nether to collect some lava. This was to make the portal lighter. But on the way back, my portal spawned inside a dungeon, and let's just say this dungeon was booby trapped. I then created the portal lighter, and then lit the portal. Then, on day 56, we entered the abyss. I spawned in this rundown house which had these scorpions in it. These things were quite strong. There wasn't much in this house though, so I decided to venture off. After about 5 minutes of exploring, I found this level 4 soul guard. I was quite scared as I didn't know how strong this thing was, but let's just say it took a while to kill. When I had finally killed it, it dropped a soul heart. I wasn't too sure what this did, so I just kept it. I then noticed while exploring there was some dude on a hill. I built up to them and lightning struck right next to me. I then noticed there was an Elder Boss bar on top of my screen. Turns out the dude was a girl called Sylvia, and Sylvia had a quest, but I wanted to leave it for now as I didn't feel strong enough. I then started mining and managed to find loads of new ores. Whilst mining, I found this weird room which had a portal-like structure, and in the chest there was some sort of key. Once leaving the abyss, I reconstructed the portal I found and used the key. I had created a new dimension portal. With all the materials I had managed to get, it doesn't look like I'll be needing to go mining anytime soon. One of the materials I had managed to get was called Unknown Gems. With this, I created a full Unknown set and sword. I then upgraded my sword using some of the other materials. This sword was insane. It gave speed effects while holding, so I decided to enchant it. Then, from day 66 to day 71, I worked on getting full enchantments on my Unknown gear. I took all my netherite armor and put it on an armor stand, as I'd be returning to it later on. On day 72, I started to prepare to kill the Ender Dragon. I brewed up some strength potions and made some golden apples ready for the fight. Then, on day 73, I entered the end. I spawned on this weird platform which had these cannon things, so I took the TNT. Throughout exploring the end, I found loads of these weird platforms. I then started to destroy the crystals. Once destroying all the end crystals, I drank a strength potion and started attacking the dragon. Let's just say I felt like Robin Hood when shooting at this thing. Like, I barely missed a shot. But there we have it, I killed the end dragon, I took the egg and went back home. On day 74 I decided to go back into the end to find an elytra, but when I came through I saw this dude flying. Well yeah, turns out these guys weren't actual traders, but really thieves. This guy took my bread and I had to kill his llamas to get it back. I then entered the end gate, which spawned in the middle of nowhere, built over to this cool looking island and MLG bucketed down because, you know, why not? I then found one of these thieves riding an elephant, which was kinda cool. I chopped down this cool looking purple tree for some building blocks, and carried on building across the void. After around 10 days exploring the end, I finally found an end city. This thing looked incredible, and it had a ship, which was awesome. I started wiping out the shulkers, and when I say this sword is OP, it's insane. This thing could kill shulkers in like 2 to 3 hits. Also, the amount of loot in this place was insane. Like, it got to the point where I placed a waystone just to put all the loot back in my house. After looting the whole city, I floated up to the end ship. I killed all the shulkers and took the elytra. This thing already had mending and unbreaking 3 on, which was mega handy. I flew off the ship down to another island, which had an end gateway next to what looked like a broken end ship. There wasn't much here, so I just returned back to the overworld. Day 88 was a peaceful day. I was running out of food, so I just tended to the farms. For the next 2 days, I started to tidy up my loot and sort out my chests. Then, on day 91, I set off to complete a full infused netherite setup. This thing took absolutely ages, and I had to kill hundreds of these slime spiders in the abyss. Then, on day 100, I removed my netherite enchantments in the grindstone and created the infused netherite setup. So, there we have it, 100 days of Minecraft Insane Mode. I've had so much fun recording this video, and this mod pack has a lot more content, so depending on how well this video does, I might make a part 2. Also, a huge shout out to Jules. His 100 day video helped me get an understanding of this mod, and his link will be in the description. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.